All right. How's everyone doing tonight?
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, God, I still had to record. Keep stalling, Evan. Keep stalling.
Keep stalling.
What's new in Zeus? You can plug it to our audience.
Oh man, we are constantly shipping. Yeah, we've got a lot of people testing our new major release, 0.9, and it's like chock full of features.
How do you get testers for a mobile app?
You got to go through the walled garden of Apple and publish through test flights. So disaster. But the Android guys usually are just like manually loading the APK binaries onto their phones, or they use something like Unobtainium to pull from our GitHub. The hardcore guys.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, our testers are invaluable to us. You know, they find bugs that we don't catch. They give us feedback. We like to just listen to their problems, and you know, it makes the product better. Really drives development. But yeah, 0.9 beta. It's been opened up for a while. We had it for our closed community sponsors for like a month. Opened it up like a week or two ago. And yeah, it's chock-loaded. It's full of stuff. We got a new LSP service. It's based on the LSPS1 spec group. So you could get channels in advance instead of having to get them just in time. So they're a little bit cheaper, but you got to wait for them on chain to confirm, right? We've got a lot of optimizations to how the node in the phone works and how it connects to like the Neutrino clients that give you the block data privately. And my favorite thing, which is like something I've been wanting to put into Zeus for like 5 years ago, it just wasn't ready, is hardware wallet support. So you can import a hardware wallet like a cold card queue, a seed signer, a foundation passport, a Crux wallet. There's like a really long list. Anything that basically has PSBT signing, QR codes, and you could go back and forth. You can basically open up Lightning channels or close them to and from your cold storage, your hardware wallet, as well as do just regular on-chain transactions. Mm-hmm. And then we've coupled that with like batching. So you're like, oh, okay, instead of doing one transaction per channel I want to open, like I'm gonna do like 10 channels in one transaction. So like together, like you really get some awesome efficiencies, right? So like previously, like you'd have a hardware wallet, and you'd have to like send it to your Lightning wallet's on-chain address first. So that's one transaction, and then a second one to open the channel. Now you could do it all in one and have like the segregation of your cold storage funds and Lightning.
Oh, really?
Have like a direct relationship. So, it's definitely for the more hardcore users. Like my mom's not going to be doing that, right? But now that we have the option, it's really cool.
How numerous do you think hardcore users are? Like on a relative basis?
I don't know. That'll be doing interactions like that. Like it would be crazy if we had even a few thousand people doing that like that.
But a few thousand, that's quite a few.
That's pretty good, you know. Like Zeus has definitely undergone some growth the last year, especially as it's gone from this sort of remote controller tool to like a formal wallet, right? Where you can just hit one button, have a self-custody Lightning wallet just in the app on the phone. So, we've got probably like, I don't know, somewhere between 20, 30 or so thousand users. It's sort of like hard to measure though, because we got like a lot of metrics from the App Store, but a lot of people are also just sideloading it, pulling it from GitHub or pulling it from the website, and things get a little cloudy there.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's been quite a ride. And, to see how much we've accomplished, but also knowing like, it's still really early. It still feels like the first inning, Like, I'm only using Lightning on a regular basis if I'm at, a Bitcoin conference, or if I make my way down to El Salvador. It's not widespread, but I'm really optimistic about that changing over the next couple of years.
How big's your team? Who's rolling out all these updates? Is it just you?
It's me, and we got one full-time employee.
Where'd you poach him from?
Where did I poach him?
What Bitcoin company was he working for?
The poaching is just starting now. I've got my eyes on guys I'm poaching. No, Shubham was actually my mentee in the Summer of Bitcoin program, which is fantastic. It takes like all these university students from India, right? And they match them with mentors, and they just ship awesome free open source code. So I met Shubham like 3 summers ago, and then he graduated. He had like pivoted from doing physics to computer science, and he had been doing a couple contributions to Zeus. He went out into the field and he's like, Evan, is there any chance you'd potentially hire me? I'm out in the field, I'm learning a lot, it's okay, but my workplace is a little toxic right now. And I'm like, okay, let's give it a go. And we've been at it. It's been a year and a half we've been doing it full time. And we've shipped a ton of stuff, like tons of functionality in the app.
I think Car wants to start the podcast.
No.
But you guys are shipping Go binaries to
Go for it.
iOS devices? Is that?
Oh yeah. Well, we compile LND Mobile, which is Go, and then in that we also have like our Lightning Node Connect stuff. It's a little crazy doing Golang on mobile, but we're making it work.
Okay, I should ask you about that maybe another time. But
This is great stuff. I think everybody wanted to hear about it.
Okay,
Yeah, cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you. I mean,
thanks for
first-
just letting me riff for it.
Yeah. I would say if you've never seen this crazy show before, it's called Stacker News Live. We're here in Nashville.
Stacker
I think it's Tennessee. Somebody said Tennessee has 2 time zones. Is that true?
Where?
No, it does. It does have 2 time zones. Confirmed. Teresa confirmed.
That's why I showed up late.
One is on the East Coast, is like the East Coast time zone.
Why is that
Where's
though?
that line?
Like,
at?
yeah, where's the line?
It's not true on the East Coast side, and then there's a big line, you come to it, you have to cross over it, and then you're in Central Time.
So you could go back to the future and forward in the future.
Are we
That's
in-
kind of cool.
Call the people up in Knoxville, and they'll tell you what's about to happen.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, if you've never seen this crazy show before, we cover the top 5 stories on Stacker News Live. It's the or Stacker News. It's the front page of Bitcoin. Does anybody here a stacker?
Oh yeah.
Everybody.
Well, that-
almost everybody.
I mean, the camera isn't on the crowd, but it was three. It was like
There's 3
hands.
people. Okay. I invited my friend Evan here to come, and because I was like, get the Zeus, the god of war.
What Car really wanted was a wallet fight where we'd have all the wallets on.
They're all too scared to show up.
They were. Zeus is the only powerful wallet god.
No, I mean, I was talking about Roy from Breeze, and we had a panel today, and it was fantastic. It was me, him, Desiree from Thunder Games, and Frank Corva moderating. It was founders on the Lightning Standard, and we were just talking a little compare and contrast on the Breeze brand and the Zeus brand. Where like Breeze is like, oh, it's nice, it's cool, it's chill, and Zeus is like, I want the blood of the Titans.
It's like a metal band of wallets.
So we could pivot and it'd make great metal merch.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just want to say thank you guys so much for having me. This is a historic first live Stacker News, right?
Privilege.
So it's a real privilege and honor. You guys have a wonderful website over at Stacker News. I honestly don't post as often as I wish I had the time for, but going
Everyone's
on
a
there,
lurker.
seeing the zaps, come in, and seeing the great content, plebs helping each other out. I'm just always really pleasantly surprised at how good the content is on the website every time I visit.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the top 5 stories. As you know, I don't read the news. I don't pay attention to this stuff. But this guy does, and this guy does. So I want you guys shouting if you guys disagree with us. Definitely do that. It'll be good for a live show. And the more shouting, the more opinionated you are, the better. Let's really get this going. Let's really try to break the internet. The first top story is Joe Biden withdraws his nomination for the 2024 presidential election. 171 comments from Tom K. July 21st, news territory, 3,158 sats. Keyan, who's Joe Biden?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's the political season, and Stacker News has gotten kind of political. If you don't like that kind of stuff, but there's been a bunch of stuff going on in the political realm, where Joe Rogan was the nominee for the Democratic Party, not through an electoral process, but through a sort of weird process, and then he had that debate. Maybe you guys watched it or heard about it or saw it on Twitter or something, and that didn't go so well, and people started assuming Joe maybe wasn't having age-related decline, And then there was then all of a sudden there was everyone appeared to be surprised that he had that age-related decline, and then he.
So what's this letter? Like, what's this letter about? I don't even know.
Oh, this was weird. This was really. Oh, there's so many cool things. I don't know how. Like, I don't want to get too far into this because I kind of like reading. I kind of like trying to think about what's behind. Like, is Joe like? Because like the social media stuff is like Joe Biden's dead. Someone
Shut up, really?
Yeah, no, Joe Biden's dead.
there was
someone
like
in his cabinet wrote this. And because like the signature, like people are like, like the conspiracy theorists, a lovable bunch. I don't mean conspiracy theorists as a derogatory term, but they're like looking at all of his past signatures, like doing forensic analysis on his signatures, and he's never signed another document with the signature before. And so they're like, who signed
somebody
that
did
document?
like the signature science on it or something?
Yeah, and then he wasn't publicly seen for like 4 or 5 days after this.
Evan, what's going on? I know you know the
I got the
president.
inside line, let me tell you. Yeah, it's just a lot of craziness. You could go into the minutia of it, from the letterhead not being there fully, the signature, him not announcing on video, like addressing the nation, just putting this out on Twitter of all places too, without a blog post of the White House, which is also crazy too. Sheesh, what else? Kamala the next day saying, "Oh yeah, Joe's giving me the announcement," and she just comes in on the phone and she's saying, "Oh Joe, are you still there on the on the call?" So like they're messing with us a little bit. They're having some fun.
Do you think there's anybody running America right now? No, seriously, like honestly though, like do you think there's somebody actually running America right now? The Sand people?
The people from Dune. Yeah.
Dune, okay.
Oh boy, are we going down that route?
That guy in the gel
man.
guy who hovers.
What do you think? Do you think somebody's actually running? Do you think it's really honestly? Do you really think it's Joseph Biden?
I think it's really Joe Biden. The conspiracy theory that I like is that this Joe Biden thing was a psyop to distract from the assassination attempt on Trump, and that what they did was they purposefully put out this letter that would stir up social media and get people distracted, because like social media was like in a complete frenzy trying to figure out what happened in the assassination because they couldn't hear about anything, and then this comes out and everyone's like, Joe Biden's dead. And then 3 or 4 days later, they're like, Joe Biden is alive and well. Look at all these crazy conspiracy
so they want somebody to be like,
discredit.
They want
basically.
they want sympathy for him, is what you're saying.
Well,
they want the sympathy vote.
No, they're trying to discredit anyone who doesn't trust their narrative, and so they concocted something that would bait them into a narrative that they could prove was false, and then say these people don't have any credibility. They're prone to suspecting that we are nefarious regardless of what happens. And therefore, anything they say about the assassination attempt should be viewed with the skepticism. Anyway, I like that theory.
Classic
it's just theories, but it's fun.
So
have so much
this
fun.
one's
It is fun. That's the problem with politics. It's a big distraction,
It is.
right? But it's just so much fun to speculate. Like, we'll never know. We'll never know what happened behind the assassination or this thing. But you just speculate for hours and hours. It's just so much fun.
So we got it from 0245 whatever. He says, all the Dems have to do is pick anyone under 65 and they will win. The only reason no one has noticed Trump's mental decline is because he never made much sense anyway. A magic 8-ball has a more cohesive thought process than the orange man. Tamales came underneath him, says, do you really think that? They haven't had time to build up a candidate for months. Then he says, I agree that he has a tendency to spit nonsense. Keyan, what do you think?
So I think Michelle Obama is going to be the nominee for the Democratic Party. I'm calling it right here, calling my shot on Stacker News Live. But I think that'll happen during the DNC at the end of August.
Both of them, Kamala and that one?
No,
Michelle?
I think Kamala's a fake candidate, and I think Michelle Obama will come in because the polling shows that she has a real chance at winning, and people like her a lot. And why wouldn't they do that? And they'd wait until the end of August when the DNC is, and then they would announce her as the candidate, and then you only have like 2 months to really try to build negative sentiment towards her, which would be really hard because she's just done such a good. She's really likable.
What do you think, Evan? What do you think's gonna happen?
I think at this point there's just so much uncertainty and unlikeliness that Kamala on a ticket would win that I think if she really wanted it, people would get behind a Michelle Obama ticket, and then I think paired with someone like Gavin Newsom, maybe they would do really, really well and get a lot of people to the polls. But I'm not sure she wants it. I don't know. I think it's complicated.
Anybody
she's
out there
already got it really good, right?
Anybody out there have an opinion on what's gonna happen?
Biden did give an address this week from the Oval Office.
Yeah.
So he's still alive.
Oh, if you believe that video is real. If you zoom in on the background behind him, there's waviness in the.
Is that a green screen, Logan,
in the
or no?
trees. Yeah, what is it? Is it
Logan
real
said
screen?
it's not a green screen.
Is his face is kind of sagging on one side. Is that his real face? Is that his face? Is it Jim Carrey pretending to be Jim Biden? Jim Carrey does a great Joe Biden.
All right, well, that was the top story of the week. Everybody wanted to talk. It's crazy though that all the stackers, as soon as like the political season hit, like all they want to do is talk about politics. Isn't that interesting? Because Stacker News wasn't around in 2020, right? For the first?
No.
So this would be the first time we ever like seen a presidential election on Stacker
hopefully
News.
it's over soon because it does consume
It's
us all.
all you see now.
It is a lot of it. I mean, I think on the front page right now there isn't much of it, but
it's interesting to see. 171 comments.
But it's the week of the Bitcoin National Convention, and we're having our party assemble here in Nashville. There's bound to be some trickled stuff. I think we might get a couple posts on the website tomorrow evening. Potentially after.
Would you take if like Trump or one of these other candidates reached out to you and said, "Hey, we want you to be our national wallet"? Like Chivo or something.
Well, I mean, if Trump's going to pick a wallet, it's going to be something made in America.
Come up to Evan, if he came up to you, he's like, "Hey, man, I want you to be the Chivo for America." Like, would you do that, or would you be like,
"God, you know how much assurances I would need in writing for that to happen?" But I don't know. It'd be tempting. But
if he makes you like national wallet,
you're the Bitcoin czar.
Yeah,
national
but then
wallet.
When things go awry and the really bad things I don't want to happen start happening, and I think I'm
Bitcoin
associated,
wallets or
then
something
I
like a
can't sleep at
CBW.
night.
What if you get like a really good title though? Like a CBW, Chief
I
Bitcoin
don't want
Wallet.
anything official. Like if Baron Trump wants to like pull out a Zeus wallet at a party, maybe like I'll just sell it for that. I don't want Eric or Donald Jr. Please.
Okay, that's good. Well, at least we know that you'll turn him down.
Oh yeah, I mean.
There you go.
What? I'm not already?
All right. The next top story is punishment is a public good. This is from Undisciplined, July 23rd. Economy territory. 129 comments. 103,000 sats. Really? What's this, Keyan?
Yeah. So Undisciplined was in a thread, and we were talking about punishments specifically on Stacker News because there were a few people who started up. Well, the origin is like Meta, but the few people who started up territories where they had 1 sat posting fees, and so they were getting a lot of content added to them that people didn't really like. That was kind of Darth Coin calls it ass milking, where they're like trying to earn, they're milking sats out of the ass of Stacker News is what I think he means.
Stacker News has an asshole?
Other people call it sat fishing. If you're more PC than Darth Coin is, which everyone on Earth is, and anyway, we're talking about punishment and how punishment, the incentive, like one of the things I'm super obsessed with is how Bitcoin can cause us to be more coordinated in scenarios where money isn't available. And so that's what Stacker News is like an experiment on that. And so Undisciplined, who's a trained economist, shared his perspective on punishment in public goods systems and in public good systems, Stacker News is a commons, but punishment is a public good, is what this post is describing, and that it's something that everyone else benefits from when you punish, but to the same degree that you do, yet you incur abnormal levels of cost that they don't. And so that's basically what makes it a public good. So why would anyone punish if those are the circumstances? If I punish, I am paying an exorbitant price, but I get the same benefit of everyone who doesn't. Why would they do it? That's basically the concept. And so what can you do to do that? You reward someone for punishing, and that's the kind of conversation that we got into.
Evan, what do you think? Is there punishment in these types of value for value ecosystems? Is that what he's basically talking about, undisciplined?
Well, it's a loaded one, right? Like, what's the setup? Is there a central authority? Are you in an explicit contract with someone else? What's the relationship in these systems?
Well, you have a contract that you have something you're trying to share with other people. That's the setup. Like a fishery is like an example of a commons. You have a fishery, and if someone comes in and they overfish it, what do you do about them? Do you just let them do it? Do you let them steal all the fish and then no other fishermen can feed their families? You end up establishing some kind of contract between them, but how do you punish the fisherman who comes in and overfishes is kind of the idea. And what he's saying is the person who punishes him, people are discouraged from doing that because they're going to pay a large cost and they're going to benefit the same as everyone else who isn't paying the cost.
But this is that sort of like gatekeep, though, I feel like, even if you do try to stop people from gaming the system at a certain point?
Well, I mean, so you should think, so do we not want oceans to be shared? The fact is, like unless we want oceans to be private property, which is debatable, you end up with us trying to share them, and that creates a bunch of these problems.
I just have such a problem with this analogy where we're like talking about physical space, oceans, fish, physical goods, and we're talking about something more abstract, like in terms of a creator economy and our attention spans, which is also is limited, but there's more abundance if you divert more time to it. Yeah, I mean, isn't it incentive enough if people stop zapping you because you're overdoing it? Right? Like there's a sweet point to it?
Not if you have a global feed. Not if you have a feed that's pulling in posts from everyone and they are the only person you see in that feed because they are overwhelming.
Yeah, but are people going to use the global feed? Because I've seen what you guys are posting on there. That's disgusting. I'm not using that anymore. And I don't think my mom is going to use the global feed either, so...
Stacker News is purely a global feed where it's attempting to make a healthy global feed. And so this is one of the problems you encounter in a global feed. We're building an ocean. And that's the value is people like oceans. But managing them is really hard.
I think it's one of those things where you kind of just have to let it happen and then try to nudgily steer it in the direction that you want it to go. But I think the right answer here is like don't touch it. I mean, you and EK have the authority to like fix things on the outside.
Yeah, like that's a great. I'm like really curious. Like, do you guys ever have to moderate content that's also like it's receiving a lot of zaps? It's well received by at least a chunk of the community, but you have to just put the kibosh on it because it's illicit.
No, usually we don't moderate at all. We do. All of us have the power to down zap. But I will down zap bad content, and so do many other stackers. But usually things that people are willing to give sats for are not things that really anyone else is willing to down zap usually.
Yeah.
And the other thing is our zaps are, when someone zaps, it's usually not a Sybil zap because we take a fee out of the zap, which is a little bit of Sybil resistance against a fake zap.
Right.
Yeah, we have Item Single. He says, let's punish the spammers and the bots only. Don't ever punish good and related content. Undisciplined says, I'd hope people behave that way, but you can't count on people doing anything other than the following the incentives. What do you all think in the audience? Do you think there's a way to stop ass milking, I think is what he said?
The territory owners, yeah.
Okay.
Like I've seen Siggy kind of give a warning message, like I'm not going to down zap you this time, but this is why I.
Oh wow, he does that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or like if it's AI generated. It's just,
Oh wow.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, these are like the problems I'm really interested in Bitcoin solving. Is like, if oceans and fisheries had Bitcoin available in a way that internet applications can, is that a solvable problem all of a sudden? We have two questions.
Yeah.
Is down
Reputation system is another layer, but we do have a reputation system on top of downsaps already. And so in the one sat territory, the ass milking, the territory founder is able to say what the ass milking cost is. They set the floor on ass milking.
So should we get like maybe Jim back there can we get the floor to the ass milking? Like, what's the measurement on that? And can we do the math?
Why would Jim know? Does he look like he's been on an ass milking floor? Like what?
Well, because we were watching Silicon Valley at the Pleb B&B, and he played that Silicon Valley.
Good show. Yeah, D2S.
Yeah,
G, you had a question?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's its own self-regulating ecosystem, right?
Well,
So maybe we need global warming on Stacker News.
It gets kind of complicated because the territory is still tied into the globe. It's like part of the global ocean, and so if all these shellfish mostly reside in one part of the ocean, and you fish them all out, eventually you can cause an extinction event for the whole ocean. So that's kind of. But anyway, like there are things that can be done that separate that part of the ocean from.
It's so crazy. I wish there was a difficult adjustment algorithm for fishing those crawfish.
Well, that's something we've discussed too. That's basically a, what is that called? It's like surge pricing. That's what Uber does. That's what Bitcoin does. And so we could do surge pricing.
Interesting.
But these are like all the fun things
right now
you can do with Bitcoin that you couldn't really do before.
Stuff. Cool. The next top story is Stackers Predict, August 2024. This is from It's Tomaket news territory. 125 comments, 7,144 sats. What does he want in a forecast? What is this?
Well, he wants stackers to forecast anything for 2024, and they do. We have some things in here. People are making a lot of political predictions. I have mine, which is that Michelle Obama is going to be the real Democratic nominee.
There's a big
when is the
cyber
convention?
attack.
End of August.
Okay.
Yeah, so it looks like it's just a bunch of predictions by the stackers. Do you guys have any predictions for 2024?
Any predictions anyone wants to share?
Bitcoin to 100K.
Wow.
I like that one.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Bitcoin to 100K is one prediction we have.
I think Biden will probably die.
Oh, Lord.
We have a more, yeah.
You got anything, Evan, for 2024?
For 2024, ooh, that's hard to say. I could do 2025 predictions.
Yeah, do it.
All right, I think the New York Knicks are going to win a championship for the first time since 1973. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think we're going to, barring assassination, I think Donald Trump's probably going to get elected. I hope he announces some good stuff for us. It sounds like we're going to get a national Bitcoin reserve or some intentions for that announced tomorrow. Although I would rather the capital gains get wiped away.
Yeah.
Usher in a new era of prosperity for getting zaps on Stacker News. No tax on tips. That's pretty good.
No tax on zaps.
Does that apply? Yeah, that's got to apply, right?
Yeah.
Right. We'll make a case for it if not.
It depends.
We really need like a Noster and Stacker News advocate in the Trump team's ear, so we'll figure that out.
We have someone who works on the Hill on Stacker News regularly, but I don't. They haven't doxed their political affiliation or how that in what capacity.
So you're gonna get a stacker inside the White House, is what you're saying?
We might. It might be Trump. It might be Q. Who knows?
Oh God,
That's crazy.
Oh God.
The next top story is introducing Proton Wallet, a safer way to hold Bitcoin. This is from Pleb 1, July 24th, Bitcoin territory. 48 comments, 3,012 sats. Keyan, what is this?
Yeah, so this is pretty crazy. So it turns out Proton, the developers of Proton are super based, and they basically created a non-custodial Bitcoin wallet that allows you to send and receive, or basically send money to a Proton Mail user to their non-custodial wallet. There are a bunch of reasons to criticize some of the decisions they made here, but I think it's really important because they serve a non-Bitcoiner user base and are making a pretty significant statement and are very pro-Bitcoin. I really enjoyed their blog post that was shared here, where they describe why they got into Bitcoin, which is very similar to the Canadian trucker scenario, where they were shut down by PayPal and then ended up looking for alternatives and finding Bitcoin and realizing how significant it was for them, and now all their customers.
I actually think this is the biggest news of the week, if I'm being completely honest. I think this is like the biggest news.
It's massive. And this has been ruminating a while. Like, I don't want to say who, but there's some very excellent Bitcoiners that have been interfacing with them and giving them, sort of guidance as what direction to go. So I know there's a lot of qualms about the security model, but listen, this is not supposed to be your wallet where you have your savings, anything significant. This is like a great first wallet, right? So everyone crying about, it's not perfect, can relax a little bit. And it's the first iteration too, right?
What's your take on it, Evan?
On-chain wallet.
What's your take on it? Because
I want to try it out. Does anyone want to send me a couple Bitcoin to my Proton Mail? Well, has it rolled out to everyone? Because honestly, in the whirlwind of this week and getting ready for Nashville, I haven't had the opportunity to try it. I am a Proton Mail customer, and I've really enjoyed the service over the last couple of years. And I'm just bullish on it. It's not going to be perfect day one.
Do you see it as competition or no?
Oh, no. They can't hold a candle to us, but no. Like I said, it's like a great intro wallet, right? So like you're like, okay, I have this email address, and wait, it's a Bitcoin wallet already. So let people, try it out, get their first few sats.
So it's better than Coinbase, is what we're saying?
Oh man, what's not better than Coinbase? Jeez. So let's see. I mean, there's probably still some UX issues with conflating emails and Lightning addresses, and that's not easy. So, where's Andre? We got to scold him about that. That was a bad decision.
Yeah. I think this is my take on it, and like I said, I don't know anything, but I do think I don't want to mix my Bitcoin wallet with my mail, if that makes any sense. Like that's where I kind of fall in. Where
right. You don't want someone to have your communications and then link it to your payments.
I already pay them for Proton and stuff like that. I don't need them to do a wallet too. So this actually makes me want to use Proton less, and I don't know why that's in my head. So that's kind of my take on it. I do think you're right. I do think it's like good for everybody, and like anybody that signs up for a Proton account, like it's great. You can send them a Bitcoin, but that was my initial first reaction, was like, crap. Now I got to switch mail providers.
As long as they don't degrade the quality or they focus less on the mail product. But they've done such a good job with it, and like added stuff alongside it. Like the calendar's good, the drive's good. They have collaborative notes. You don't have to use Google Docs anymore. Now it's all encrypted. Yeah.
What do you think about?
I'm just been really impressed, and I know the Bitcoin wallet is a hard thing to ship. It's going to take some time for it to really shine, right? Like like Lightning is on the GitHub repo, but they haven't shipped that yet. It's only on-chain receiving. So give it some time, and I think there's the possibility to, onboard a lot of people that are just Bitcoin curious. They're like, oh, now I could accept it. Bam.
Yeah. What's your take on it, Keyan?
Oh, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, a lot of these web services, especially if you're paying with a credit card on a recurring basis, you're more or less KYC'd into them, and so if all of your receive addresses are...
Wait. Can I pay for my subscription with Bitcoin now?
I mean, that should be on the pike, but I think
Let's
there's
do it.
even like legislation that's come out recently that's trying to say that all SaaS companies need to KYC their users. So it's a bit, if they start using silent addresses or something like that, I think there'll be no linkage, which will be nice.
Yeah, I think it's overall a good thing, but I don't think it's a good thing for people that are like using Proton or like who care about privacy. That's what I would say. But I'm definitely like one of probably like 100 people that probably feel that way.
I don't know. I think anything that's bringing more Bitcoin to traditional web services is good. Even if the first iteration is criticizable, I think I'm optimistic. I think this is the way things are going to go.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
What do y'all say out there? Anything?
Did anyone sign up for it yet?
Do y'all want us? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like if you're maxed out, you're paying them already like $200 a month, then you get access already.
Anybody gonna sign up for
Proton Mail, if you're listening, I'm a customer. I don't pay that much, but I'll try it out.
Anybody gonna sign up for Proton because of this now, or no?
Studa good too, but
Okay.
a little different, the product.
Okay. Cool. The next top story is StatechainJS. This is the final top story. Fast and free Bitcoin transactions like ecash, but a bit safer. From Super Testnet, July 23rd, Bitcoin territory, 20 comments, 13,000 sats. Keyan, what did Super do now?
Yeah, I wish Super were here to talk about this because I'm not super state chain literate, but Super's like traveling the world or whatever or something right now. But basically, he rewrote a state chain. Mercury Wallet is like the big state chain proponent, but he rewrote one in JavaScript, and I think a lot of people in the community feel like state chain got completely passed over when we all started talking about ecash as a scaling technology. And Super was huge into state chain before, and so he's trying to learn more about it and repackage it, maybe present it to new people. But more like ecash, it scales off chain, except you actually have unilateral withdrawals. It makes slightly different trust assumptions than ecash does, but most people, I think, would argue, if they're thinking about it from first principles, would say the trust assumptions are better and not worse. There is less. I think you are trusting privacy is the main thing. You're trusting privacy, but you're not trusting custody as much. And
You can still get rugged.
You could still get rugged.
It's intentional rugging.
Yes.
It's
like a premeditated rugging.
Yeah. Like if your state chain provider gets hit by a meteorite, for example, God forbid, you can still get your funds back, which is nice.
Is Zeus going to send down a meteorite?
Sure. No, I wouldn't do that. Well, not me personally. But
So I got a lot of ways I could take this, but first, like Evan, you implemented Zap Locker in Zeus, and I know you got a lot of heat for that, or maybe you did it. I don't know. Just depends who you talk to. But do you think this is something that you will look at to implement ecash on the Zeus wallet, or how do you you don't have to give any formal announcements right now, but just what's your lens on it right
I'm
now?
always evaluating all these, layered scaling solutions in the community, and I think there's been just such a resurgence of people trying new and different things, especially as we had the huge fee spikes because of the ordinal scam. It's interesting. It's interesting for sure. I'll say that. It is a little bit more appealing to me than something like ecash. I do ultimately think that Zeus is focused on self-custody first and foremost and trying to make the most optimal user experience around that. But I also do think that, some of the wallets, they're the best wallets of the future, will probably have this blend of trust for different amounts and let you graduate to full self-custody all in the app, under the hood. I think the stuff that the Muni guys have been doing is directionally correct. It might just be a little too early.
Yeah, definitely.
And it might not just be ecash straight up as is.
Yeah, I
We'll
think
see.
it's
It's going to
just-
be really interesting to see how we can provide these benefits for these users using these other schemes without making it more complicated. You know what I mean? Because there's points where things hit the rails and they get exhausted. Like, for example, the Fedimint DNS thing. Like, that's a situation in which technology that should have made things easier for users made it much worse. And I think it's very easy for that to happen with most of these schemes, especially if you do them in a hybrid form. But nonetheless, it's like we're having like a renaissance of these ideas being tested. And yeah, it's just like an interesting contrast between, you know, what we can do today with what Bitcoin provides now, and people also looking forward to like adding soft forks to Bitcoin and focusing on the functionality that will enable. You know?
Yeah.
You can't let perfect be the enemy of good right now, so there's room for both those schools of thought.
Super said, it didn't occur to me till today, but state chains have one very meaningful privacy advantage over ecash, which is this: an ecash mint can do shotgun KYC on its users by telling them, I will not permit any more transfers or withdrawals unless you first submit your identification documents at this website, insert chainalysis.com/equivalent here. But if a state chain operator tried that, users could laugh in his face and use their already signed unilateral withdrawal transactions to leave him behind forever. Protection from shotgun KYC. Is that true, Keyan?
Yeah.
They would have to rug the whole mint entirely and reissue it.
Okay.
Otherwise, but if they just say, "Hey, provide your registration," like, no, that doesn't work in this scheme.
Definitely go read this one, because he even posts, like, I don't know, right or wrong, Telegram messages of people rugging people with ecash stuff, which you don't really hear about. Good on Super Testnet for being a champion of fixing things.
Doing stuff.
Brilliant, man.
Do y'all have
Love him dearly.
any opinions out there? I know there's one guy in the back there that probably has a really strong opinion on it.
I didn't.
Oh, whoa! Did you say Nostr sucks?
Wow.
Nostr's pretty good.
From the hackathon winner. Have you won yet?
Did you win?
No, it hasn't.
Of course you did, because you hate ecash.
You wait. They announced the winners and you didn't win?
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. Evan, you have any final thoughts on it?
I mean,
Don't fuck Nostr. Come on, it's great. Follow me, evan@ZeusHelen.com.
Evan at inpub1545.
All right. That's all the top 5 stories of the week. We're going to jump into 2 quick little stories. First one is the Lightning Labs announces TapASS shitcoins on Mainnet. I'm reading off the script here. Lightning territory, null count, July 23rd, 37 comments, 2,260. Evan used to work at Lightning Labs. How's everything going with all this rollout? I know Gentry's been talking a lot about it and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's been a long time in the making. I believe they have been working on it for 2 years since they announced the initial idea. So congratulations to, everyone working very hard on it. It's a very big lift. Some brilliant minds over there had to work many, many, many hours to make it work. And, personally, I have some mixed feelings about it. On one hand, I'm very excited about the possibility of users potentially, being able to interact with different currencies and receive what they want while the sender is sending a different currency entirely. But I do have concerns about, prolonging the lifespan of these fiat currencies. I have concerns about the regulatory aspect of it. I don't want to become a money service business or money transmitter, which we think we'd have to become if we were to sell these channels to our users. And that's like a red line for us. Like, we never want to have to apply KYC to the users of our wallet. But I don't know, is there a situation, maybe we onboard merchants, they're already basically doxxed because they have brick and mortar stores. I don't know. But, it also might just be a moot point if Donald Trump announces that capital gains tax is removed tomorrow, because that's really the main thing that's holding people back. Like, it's better money. It doesn't melt like an ice cube in value. It's really just these other things the state has added, like the restrictions, the accounting, and the capital gains tax that's holding people back from adopting it more widely. So we'll see what happens. obviously, because we use LND for our embedded node and our stack is LND, it would probably be a really light lift for us to implement it. And we're definitely like taking a look at it and seeing what it can do. But it would take ecosystem buy-in. It would have to make sense for the business. We'd have to navigate the regulatory stuff. It's still sort of up in the air. So yeah, I really don't know.
What's your opinion on whether it makes sense for Lightning Labs to do?
Whether it makes sense for Lightning Labs to do? I mean, yeah. I mean, they've raised, tens of millions of dollars. Their investors want to return. Something of that scale could potentially
return it.
But I would hope at least, and I think at least if it were successful, would be like a rising tide rises all boats situation. And I think the volume of Lightning Network would be huge, and people that maybe weren't even touching Taproot assets would benefit by increased amount of users, increased amount of routing traffic and revenue. But we'll see. It's perilous territory to chart. But I commend them for at least trying something different.
But we're having this talk after we talked about needing other layer 2s because most of the Bitcoin community has considered self-sovereign Bitcoin usage via Lightning not feasible. Is that and then we come out with, so this isn't competitive with Tron because Tron is basically a scaling solution off of Tether's layer 0, whatever, of their centralized issuance, and so this is competing with Tron. And can the Lightning Network compete with Tron? And if someone's willing to make the trade-off of trusting a central issuer, why would they choose Lightning to send the money around?
Well, I mean, I think it's really going to depend on how intensive and how in practice the controls that work for the issuers of the currency, and how in effect like the redemption for these currencies from like, let's say TapASS dollar to actual dollars in a US bank account, and how strict that is. But if you're thinking about it, whereas like instead of the dollar becoming a central bank digital currency, it becomes Bitcoinized, and we get the same properties of Bitcoin, and we could take it to Lightning, and once we do that, we get the same great privacy properties. Like, that's not so bad. Then all of a sudden, we're in the driver's seat, and it could empower a lot of people. But
I think
it depends how those controls. I don't know.
I think the only thing that comes to mind when I first saw this, and I said this a year ago, Keyan, when we were in Miami, we were recording Sacred News Live.
Oh wait, so we have done a remote. We have done it on.
We've talked about this before. Yeah.
Come on, I would have said yes if I knew this.
No, I mean no one was there. It was just me and him. So this is before we got super pumped up. What was I gonna say? The only thing that I said from the beginning is this just looks like to me that going to fall underneath the SEC's purview, and then that makes anybody that runs LND have to comply. And then before you know, we're off ramping our Lightning channels and everything with KYC and AML.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare. Thank God it's bundled differently.
That's what I see when I saw this last year.
Yeah, but it's not bundled with LND though. You have to run Lightning terminal.
Yeah, well, then
so we got that at least. Thank God.
Well, that's why I'm wondering. Like, that's my biggest fear when I see this. Is like crap.
Yeah, it would be awful if we had to go KYC Zeus users who just wanted Bitcoin channels.
If we have all these DeFi stuff start popping up now because of all this stuff, then it becomes like, oh crap, they're gonna come regulate us. So. That's the only thing that I worry about, is just kind of seeing it play out, if it plays out the way they want to.
Well, the main reason I asked you, Evan, is because I'm curious about your thoughts on self-custody, given that you work on one of the most popular wallets that people are using. So what do you, I mean, because I feel like there has been a bit of a, I don't know, like a narrative shift around self-custody. I'm still personally very bullish on self-custody because that's what I want for people.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't.
But we also want people to be good people and have good valuels, and
it's not necessarily the case that they have.
I mean, what's the human nature? People have faults. Some people, well, also some people aren't capable, right? Or some people aren't ready to take responsibility. Which is a huge thing in our society now too.
Yeah.
So as much as I am a champion of self-custody, and I think that any real Bitcoiner is going to go and do that and actually at least hold their own keys, we got to accept that there are people that are going to be interacting with Bitcoin and are not comfortable with holding it on. Like, you surely there's been someone that you've talked to about Bitcoin that was curious and you wanted to guide them the right way, but you're like, I don't know if this guy is going to actually be capable.
You gotta send them to an ETF or something. But no, but I mean, but you still think self-custody is enough to sustain Zeus's, like the demand for self-custody will still be enough to sustain Zeus's business. That's basically the.
Oh, I mean, I think
there will be enough to be viable.
I think if people keep using Lightning Network payments, no matter how the average user count shifts, then yeah, of course, like we'll be interfacing our LSP with, plebs running nodes on their phone, people running routing nodes, corporations, like anyone who has demand for channels. And as Lightning Network usage goes up, there'll be more demand for a product. So, it's not really necessarily a thing that's entirely decided on self-custody, but we're going to keep optimizing for that as much as all these other schemes are enticing and very exciting that people are experimenting with them. We're always going to build for the Bitcoiner who wants to self-custody and have great privacy and have, control of their financial destiny. We want to make sure that we're working in their interest first and foremost.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Well, I wanted to bring it up because I thought it was interesting, and we've been covering it on this show for a while. The other one that we want to bring up was CASCDR update, YouTube Crackdown and Adapt and Overcome. This is from CASCDR, Builder's Territory, the best territory on Sector News. July 24th, 13 comments, 50K boost, 2,253 sats. Jim, you want to just come up here and talk about it real quick or no?
You could take my spot.
Yeah, just real quick. We don't got that much time, so just real fast. So something happened this week with YouTube, and then you were like, what's going on?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm Jim from CASCDR. So, we found out last week, just in time for my vacation, that there were problems with the open source YouTube tools that we're using to scrape.
Ooh, rough.
And so, I knew this day would come. I was hoping it wasn't while I was on the beach hanging with my family. So I put a pause on that. Ended up coming in with a solution that just uses RSS. We knew this day would come. We're gonna have to swap them in. To me, that tells me we're over the target. We're creating value in that. Google's trying to hoard that value now. And to me, it just underscores the importance of open systems, just like what Evan was saying about, he wants people to be able to control their financial destiny. Our goal at CASCDR is to make AI work, for the people, for, individuals to, get the productivity benefits and, other benefits from LLMs and the AI revolution, and not, surrender that to people that are trying to, predate on them. So that's basically what the post was about.
Evan, you ever mess with any of the AI stuff?
Okay, AI in general, yes. There's a couple tools that we've really used that have been helpful. We found that some of the code languages have proven to be pretty good code assistants, or at least get you on the right track on certain tasks that you might not have been familiar with. We use AI to generate a lot of the graphics for Zeus. We did like a really cool graphic for our after party yesterday after Rabbit Hole Recap, and I had like Zeus like holding a rabbit in his hand.
Oh, nice.
So fun.
I love the mosaic on Zeus, by the way, like when it's loading.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a shout out to a Sunday afternoon studio. That's our friend Lebanese Hodl. Unbelievable branding work. Yeah, that was just a dream come true collaboration. But yeah, AI has a lot of potential. Obviously, we've already seen what it can do today. Who knows how powerful it can be in 10 years, but if people are going to gatekeep it and try to put up controls and use the information that you're feeding into it against you, that would be awful. But on the other hand, if we can, shorten it up with free and open source software, we have the potential to enable human flourishing like no other. So people trying to do that is massive, and it's like the odds are stacked against you. The biggest AI company in the world is called OpenAI, and it's the farthest thing from being open, and there are billions of dollars being thrown at it by some of the worst people on the planet, and you have to compete with that. That being said, it's a worthy mission, and if you just gotta try to make change for individual people, and slowly and surely, hopefully that snowballs as long as you've got your eyes on the target.
I mean, to me, what I always say is, Vikings row faster than slave ships. So yeah, okay, they have all this money, but like, are they really thinking outside the box? Are they really like Bitcoiners? Why do Bitcoiners punch so far above their weight? It's because, you know, we're free thinkers and we actually, you know, have the values, and we're, you know, quality over quantity. So I fundamentally believe that, and I think if you sprinkle Bitcoin in AI, you know, it had superb sender privacy for both 11. That's super helpful. So you have the assurances, the privacy assurances from that.
That's fantastic.
And you know, I think just the fact that I think there's not going to be a centralized monolithic AI. I just don't see it happening.
No, I mean, it's already
research-
such a competitive landscape right now, right?
Yeah, and
There's
so
like so
that
many
what
great
that
products.
implies is there will be expert AI in different areas, and what that implies is that they'll have to interoperate. And if they have to interoperate, they might have to pay each other. And if they have to pay each other, then
yeah,
it's
what's
going to
gonna
be
be
like a
in-
human economy, but with Bitcoin. That's pretty cool.
How do you guys see it out there with the AI stuff and Bitcoin like playing out? Sam, I've talked to you about this. I know I've talked to you about this, Michael. Docs, by the way.
I think there's a couple interesting tensions with it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like, number one, the micropayments are so conducive to doing individual queries, right? We could potentially like have peers that are like, you know, reputation based and doing work for different things.
Yeah.
And it's good. But then, you know, you also have the computation side where we're like, okay, computing hours are limited, and are people going to go and use that for AI, or are they going to use it to mine Bitcoin? And that's an interesting tension where I think short term, maybe we have these data centers that are, since they have so many resources and power in them, you see AI and Bitcoin mining in the same facility. But then ultimately, I think Bitcoin mining wins out. So your AI has to be really good.
They're levering up like hell. Like I think there's a
Well, yeah.
possibility those crash and a lot of the AI applications go away, and then it's like, okay,
Yeah, I
cheap
mean,
mining
let's
facilities.
be honest. There's a lot of competition right now, and there's like a huge over allocation in the space. Like in the U.S. economy, what's the biggest stock? It's like Nvidia. Like that's insane. It's fucking crazy. The entire U.S. economy, graphics cards that I could play GTA 5 on.
Yeah.
There's the biggest.
I
stock
think
in the
whoever
world.
figures that part out, like the intersection part between those two, is the magic. And I think whoever figures that out is going to be a very rich company.
I think we have the pieces. Just no one's been motivated enough
but
to
it's
put it
kind of
all
hard
together.
to see how they fit. All right,
But
cool.
we got them. Like we've got Lightning Network. We got BitTorrents. You know, we got reputation-based systems like Nostr. Someone glue this all together. This is like a $1 trillion company.
That's another thing.
Please add me as an advisor, please.
There's another thing I want to bring up is like for scraping, you know, it's a huge challenge. You know, we tried going through proxies, like we went through a whole process and they were like, all right, scrap it, forget YouTube. But if something like LTOR succeeds, then they're not going to really be able to stop scraping. Now you can just literally just, you know, effectively tunnel into somebody else's IP address and make queries, you know.
Thanks for coming on, Uncle Jim. We're going to cover the top stackers of the week real quick. We got like 10 minutes left, guys. So top stackers of the week, the most... Keyan, what's...
If anyone wants a hat, I'll give a...
See,
come
they're
to
all
me
just
after
here for
and
hats.
I'll give you a hat. I have two shirts. I have one medium and one small,
So,
and I have...
Number one, we got
I only
Indiscipline.
have- Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a man of
Coob,
many
number
hats.
4. Bell Curve, number 5.
Top stackers.
Top stackers usually. Then we got the most boring segment. Is it the most boring segment in Bitcoin?
No.
Really? Wow. The Cowboys segment is not? I thought it was. Okay, well, turns out it's not the most boring segment. We got Keyan at the top. Somebody's hiding. Bitcoin is the future.
Sweet.
Undisciplined. 117. Blockchain. Boop.
You can leave them out.
And I think that's it. Keyan, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm going to a conference.
Is that the conference that's going on in this town?
Yes, it is. I'll be here. I don't think there's another one going on yet. And I've been spending most of it in my hotel room, which is...
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, why didn't I see you out last night?
So
What were you
came
watching?
out.
I thought the WAV Lake was sold out. Someone told me...
No, it wasn't.
It was, okay.
Is that how it's pronounced? Wav Lake?
That's what I say.
I thought
Did
it
I
was
say
Wave
Wav
Lake.
Lake?
Wait, let's get it from the source.
Is that
How do you say
it?
it?
WAV?
I thought it was Wave Lake.
Okay, fair enough.
But Wave has an E at the end of it.
Wait.
.web. I would say .web.
Wait, guys. Well, we need more context
This
here.
whole
Okay.
time.
Is it GIF or GIF?
Oh, it's GIF
GIF,
for sure.
yeah.
Okay. We have some semblance
GIF.
of sanity capping over here.
Okay. Am I consistent? Is that? Oh.
No, I'm a little more confused.
What
It's
are you
okay,
doing
though.
this weekend? So what are you gonna do? Just gonna stay in a hotel?
I mean, my hotel has these really nice robes, and they're like kind of. It's like a weighted blanket.
Dude, go outside.
I know. I'm gonna go.
Are you gonna do the Trump thing? Are you gonna go see
no,
Trump?
absolutely not.
Why?
I actually
Are you
think it's a
afraid or something,
terrible
or what?
idea.
Are you afraid or
I don't know
something?
why they turned a technology conference into a political rally. It's stupid.
Dude, so we were in an Uber with a guy who worked the venue, and he said that
an Uber.
Uber, yeah. And we were driving. The guy said that Trump is not going to get out of the car until he gets to like the stage. Like he's going to come through the
You're gonna drive
thing.
him through the
They
venue.
got him a
Yeah.
Pope-mobile?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so cool.
What are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend? So I fly back tomorrow morning, and then I'm going to be at the lab working, and probably just hang out.
Oh wow.
We got PS. He says a good stew. LMAO. I don't know what that was. He said non-compliance. This is the way. Is non-compliance the way, Evan?
Don't comply preemptively and leave markets before there's laws passed. Don't do that. Don't just let the DOJ determine what's legal or not in the land without fucking Congress passing a law. Don't do that. But no, I mean, peaceful non-compliance on certain issues is definitely important in certain issues.
Yes, PS. He
you know,
says,
It's hard.
political
It's hard though.
Statement.
he said non-KYC cigarettes. Are cigarettes KYC'd?
I don't. Oh no, they do check your ID.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go. And then the last comment was from Vake. He says, ever since I started listening to Stacker News Live, I lost 25 pounds, got a job, and women say they no longer find me creepy.
Wow, way
Car and
to
Keyan,
go!
you changed my life.
That's what I'm
What we
talking
do.
about.
It's what we do.
That's from Vake. I don't know. Is Vake in the room?
I don't think Vake would announce that Vake is here.
I'm seeing if anybody blinks. Because
You can tell if people are
sometimes Vake
blinking.
creeps me out, but sometimes he doesn't. Or her. Who knows? How much time we got left, Logan? All right, cool. Well, that's Stacker News Live.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up.
Jeez.
Get a hat.
You guys have been amazing.